going on? It's Miles Comics. Today is, of course, another beautiful Wednesday, which means it's, of course, new comic book day. Today is a very special new comic book day and is probably the best one we're getting this month since we have a bunch of issue 1s coming out. We have Avengers Armageddon issue 1 coming out, we have Mask issue 1 coming out, and we have Absolute Catwoman coming out. I'm super excited personally for Mask issue 1 since it's a new series part of the Energon universe, which I've just been really enjoying recently. It's been one of my favorite things coming out of Image, so I'm super excited to pick that up. And just in general, we also have a bunch of other stuff coming out. We do have a new Alex Ross Dimensions variant coming. That is the Mortal Thor issue 11. It looks super sick. I really like the Rainbow Road aesthetic that it carries. So overall, it's just going to be a super fantastic day. But now I think it's time to get into the top 3 pulls of last week. To be frank, I only did pick up 3 comics to actually read last week, so this list isn't very competitive. But nonetheless, I still think we got some really excellent reads from last week, so let's get right into it. Starting it off in 3rd place, I unfortunately have to put Cyclops issue 5 at this spot. It wasn't that phenomenal, but I do think it was a pretty good ending to this miniseries that we got so far. I did really enjoy the art, and the storytelling was somewhat okay. I think it was a lot better than the other Marvel miniseries that we've been getting recently, but I still think there was a lot of stuff lacking from it. So for that reason, I have to put it at this number 3 spot. Then I unfortunately have another comic that slightly underwhelmed me. That is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 1. Just because this is the first new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series that we're getting since the last run, which was super phenomenal. I had super high expectations for this release, and it just didn't match that. I still think it was a solid 3.54 out of 5 stars, so it wasn't bad by any means, but it just wasn't really phenomenal. And finally, for my poll of the week, I of course have to put Batman issue 10 here in this place because this was just an incredible book. I'm really enjoying how this series is progressing after issue 9, and I'm so glad that we have Jorge Jimenez back on the art, on the cover, and in the interior. I was definitely missing that for the last 2 issues, but now that he's back, it's better than ever. I mean, this is my favorite cover out of the entire run so far, just because of how sick it is. Now it's time in my video where I recommend to you guys a trade paperback to find or read throughout the week. However, today I do not have a trade paperback to showcase to you guys. I have a manga that is, of course, the legendary Vagabond, the retelling of Miyamoto Musashi's life, a legendary samurai. This has some very cool philosophy threaded in its pages, as well as some excellent fight scenes. But on top of all of that, there are some of the best depictions of landscapes in this book, making it a great read to read in the middle of a lake or next to a creek or on a beach or just at a park. You know, anywhere in nature where you could really appreciate it is a great place to read this book. However, I don't have anything else to share with you guys, so I think it's time to stop wasting time and head to the comic shop. Just like that, we are at the Sherpa Kitchen. I'm just kidding. We are, of course, at the local comic shop, Time Warp, here in Boulder, Colorado, right next to the mountains. It's always beautiful. So let's go get our pulls and obviously look at the back issues and stuff. I found Mask issue 1. I forgot to add this to my pull box, actually. But definitely picking this up. Of course, got Absolute Catwoman. But one thing I did not know is that these Avengers Armageddon single issues for issue 1 come in poly bags and also include a Magic the Gathering card, which is honestly super cool. I have a couple of card sleeves at home, so I'm definitely gonna sleeve it and put it somewhere. So that's a little nice treat. And I was possibly thinking of getting a box, but they don't have any I really want. I already have a Hulk Smash Everything box. And I don't really like the new Doom Quest box that they have. I think it's alright, but it could have been better. They have a bunch of stuff from Scott Snyder's new 52 Batman run, which is my favorite Batman run. Thinking of picking up a single issue maybe. I mean, like, look how beautiful that is. but I don't know. Ooh, I've seen this here before. Just a little too much out of my budget to get it, though. A super cool find, though. This is a crazy Batman cover. I think this is the coolest environment I've ever seen. And they got that old fully opposable Spider-Man. That's one of my grails right there. Desperately need that. I didn't even realize they had a Batmobile display. That's crazy. And just like that, we got a crazy fat stack of comics. Unfortunately, we didn't get any back issues this time around, but that's all right. That's fine with me. I saved more money this way, and I still spent a lot of money. That's why I didn't get any back issues. So, however, before I go home, I kind of want some coffee. So I'm looking for a coffee shop on the historical street of my city. Because they're like abundant here for some reason. And boom, just like that, I got a traditional matcha with chai. It's pretty good. It was only $4, which is honestly pretty good for a caffeinated drink this size. And now I'm just walking in this beautiful neighborhood until I get to my house. And just like that, we are back from the comic shop. This week, I got 8 brand new stories, all from this week. Usually, I only get 5 new stories and then like 2 back issues. But this week, 8 all brand new stories, which I'm all super excited to read. So I think we should get right into showcasing them. And just like that, we are back in the faithful comic corner. I still do not have a better name for it, so please let me know your recommendations. And I think we're going to start off with the new Marvel comics that I got. First up, due to the fact that Alex Ross is making a brand new series called Marvel Dimensions, he's been releasing a brand new series of variants, and I just had to pick up this Thor variant. It reminded me a lot of Rainbow Road from Mario Kart, but it's also just a super sick cover outside of that, small resemblance, so I'm super happy to own this. Then I picked up Avengers Armageddon issue 1, written by Chip Zdarsky. I'm honestly pretty excited to read this because I know there's a lot of stuff leading up to this one issue, and I know that other people aren't as excited as I am due to that reason, but I honestly cannot wait. I love Chip Zdarsky as a writer, and I didn't even know this came in a poly bag, including an extra Magic the Gathering card, which is just a bonus on top of all the hype surrounding this book. So it was just a must grab. Then I, of course, had to pick up issue 3 of Stephanie Phillips' run on Daredevil, the Legacy issue 690. This is a really fun series so far. I really like all the changes she's made to Matt Murdock, and I really like the fact that this is a crossover between Daredevil and Spider-Man, which is always a fun time. And on top of that, this is an homage to Daredevil issue 216, which is honestly super cool. Then I have another comic that's in a polybag, honestly for no reason. This series isn't that gory, even though it's associated with the Red Band Marvel title. That is, of course, Jessica Jones' Alias. I've been super loving this series, and I'm honestly kind of sad that we only have one more issue after this, because this is a miniseries, unfortunately. I would honestly way prefer it if this was an ongoing, and they were able to build an overarching story. Then, written by Scott Snyder, we have another installation into the Absolute universe. That is, of course, Absolute Catwoman. I have been waiting for this issue since it's been announced, and I've been super excited to pick it up and finally owning it. I'm honestly really excited to read this. This is definitely one of the first things I'm reading from this week, and I'm definitely going to be reading it for you guys. Then also from DC, I of course picked up Bleeding Hearts, written by Dennis Camp. We are almost at the 6 issue milestone on this series, which I'm honestly super happy about because I just absolutely love this series, and it's been just progressing incredibly well, and I can't wait for it to be turned into a trade paperback so it's more accessible to you guys. Then getting into Image, I of course picked up Mask issue 1. This is another installation in the Energon universe, which is a universe that has Transformers and G.I. Joe in it, so it's a pretty expansive universe, and the fact that this is an issue 1 of a brand new installation of it makes me pretty excited to read it. And finally, from another another GOAT, Brett Bean. I, of course, picked up Dork issue 5, but I didn't get the A cover because artwork from Daniel Warren Johnson was done for the B cover of Dork issue 5, so I just obviously had to pick up that variant because his art is just such an honor to own. Honestly, anytime I'm able to pick it up, I do, because it's honestly that great. I really enjoy his influences from Eastern comics and Western comics. I think it's a great collaboration between the two, and I love his art. But I think it's time to read the man responsible behind Absolute Batman and Batman the New 52 era's new installation to the Absolute Universe, Absolute Catwoman. I'm super excited to give this a read, and the fact that Scott Snyder did the writing is always a treat to me. First impression of Absolute Catwoman is just wow to me. This is a truly intense first issue, and it was absolutely crazy. I cannot wait to see how it develops in the future, especially as an ongoing series. There is just so much that Scott Snyder can do with this series. I'm super excited to see where it goes. Furthermore, I like the way that they illustrated Catwoman in this universe. She's essentially the reverse version of in continuity Bruce Wayne. She is super wealthy, but she doesn't necessarily use that wealth for the most morally correct decision. She also had a pretty rough childhood, and I also like the way that we have this kind of cliffhanger ending with the villain of the entire first arc. There was also a bunch of great action in this first issue, as well as a good mixture of just general dialogue explaining what is actually going on in her life, in the people around her life in this comic right now, which I honestly super appreciate. I enjoy that action as well as additional context when reading a first issue, and I think it did a great job at doing that. However, outside of that review, I have a bunch of comics that I gotta read, so I'm going to cut the video here. I hope you had a great time watching, and as always, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.